Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Find Ways to Win. I'm your host, Fitzgerald Stevens. Welcome to the segment we call Fall is Ball. That's a Saturday sports segment that we do. And we also have our host, not our host, but our special guest, Prince Dynas Amir, former University of Georgia tailback playing Dynas Amir under the great coach Mark Richt. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about college football, just to see some things that that we didn't expect. One thing I'm seeing right here, Clemson is trailing 28-10. But however, Trevor Lawrence, their all-world quarterback, is out, unfortunately, due to COVID-19. But it seems like Prince that the defense is struggling. I mean, Trevor plays offense. The defense with Clemson is struggling. We have some other games coming up on. We see the University of Georgia Bulldogs are leading University of Kentucky Wildcats 7-3.
That's terrible. Our offense is just our offense.
Well, it's who comes to play, man. You can't keep that high octane thing all the time. A couple other notable games. Michigan State up 14-10 over Michigan. Hopefully, Jim Harbaugh can pull it off for Michigan. I happen to like that school, that program, rather. And then we also have the reemergence of the Ohio State Buckeyes. And Prince, now, talk about special privileges. And I'm going to say it because I'm Alabama alumni, and not that gives me special privilege. But on a serious note, Ohio State in the Big Ten just didn't start playing till like last week. Yet after about going on like 5 games already, practically mid-season, Ohio State comes in number 3.
For sure, they have a good team for sure.
But they haven't played. You got a good team. Show me on the field. You haven't played. I guess the Nifty Lions thought they had a good team, but they played in the University of Indiana in Bloomington, walked out with the L. I don't think Ohio State should have got recognition. Should have got that type of recognition. Not coming at that high. Who have you played? In that case, go ahead and crown Alabama national championships right now, or crown Clemson national championship right now, based on your past and what you've done. Just a little things that beg the difference. Now I know strength to reputation goes a long way in life. I understand that, but is that kind of a fair assessment to programs, even your program, Dynas, University of Georgia, who have about 4 or 5 teams, 4 or 5 games under their belt, and who have went out there and played to have.
I'll say this: Ohio State deserves to be ranked higher than Georgia right now. Our offenses are clicking. We lost to you guys. Right now, we're struggling against Kentucky.
But Ohio State hasn't played.
Doesn't matter.
That's my point. They haven't played. You're telling me a team that deserves to be outranked above you, and they haven't played a single game. They haven't played.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the program. They are a dynamite program. I mean, they consistently produce top tier talent. Get top tier players and produce top tier NFL players. I know, and so I can't knock that, but they haven't played and everything. And so we gotta look at some kind of normalcy for us. And I meant this. I mean this is an abnormal year. As far as what's going on, whoever would thought the college football season would be going like it is right now, but. Fair is fair.
Right. But like I said, Fitzgerald, Ohio State, they deserve to be ranked where they're ranked. I mean, they have a very talented squad. I mean, Justin Fields, the quarterback. I mean, they're good. They have a good football team, man. So, like I said, even though they haven't played yet, they deserve to be ranked above Georgia right now.
Well, we can agree to disagree on that. We'd agree to disagree. Georgia is this would be their 5th game today?
Yes.
Fifth game, 1 loss. And so they have 4 great wins, 1 loss. And you're telling me a team who has just started the race last week is right up there with Alabama and Clemson? Are you kidding me?
Yep. Ohio State deserves it, man.
Well, I can see you saying that. I can see you say, well, they did get the rankings right when they didn't put them over us, or
Right.
stuff like that. But they don't belong up in that tier. No, sir, they do not. I mean, show me a couple of games and then earn that. You want to.
I think they have a better football team than Notre Dame. Who are they ranked above? They have right now. They have a better team in Georgia. Right now, they have a better team in Notre Dame. I mean, they deserve to be where they're at.
Okay, all right. I'm quite sure the OSU fans will agree on you like that. I mean, but they're saying that even some Alabama fans may agree with that. I'm just saying that, hey, you know what? You haven't played. You haven't showed me on the field. You want to live by past reputations. It's a lot of great programs that can match you with past reputation all day long. But I mean, you got to play. You start the race late. Big Ten made that decision, and just because you're OSU, you shouldn't get special privileges in that. My humble opinion. Right. Nor should Alabama, nor should Clemson, nor should anybody, and that's a fair assessment. I mean, we can see the coaches polls coming out as far as with they're talking about before the season come out who's ranked here based on talent returning, but this is rather unique. Those teams have actually been playing. That's the optimum word, playing. And so you can't give those guys that type of pre-consideration, that type of consideration that they haven't played. Okay, I'll even give them like 3 games. 3 games. As far as like that. Okay, show me lights out football. And then I'll say, hey, great, man, you guys deserve to be up there based on the strength of talent, but not.
Who does Ohio State play today? Who do they have today? For
sure? Let me see. Let me check the line right here, and let me see if they are playing. Maybe you help me pull that up, Prancer. You can
let's see here. They play Penn State tonight at 7:30.
Nipton Lions coming off that disappointing loss. They flat out got out coached by the Hoosiers last week. So that was kind of surprising even to them. So hopefully they can rebound. In that game, I'm taking Ohio State.
Yeah, me too.
I'm taking Ohio State far as with that. Hopefully it'd be about something. That we can see if Ohio State is merited that consideration and that player. Now, I think the game that probably is going to test them, at least I like to say I hope it test them, and it's not Michigan. I think it's going to be Wisconsin that's going to test them. As far as in that Big Ten.
Oh, let me ask you this, Joe. If Michigan doesn't win the Big Ten this year, how does that affect Harbaugh's job?
If Michigan doesn't win the Big Ten, how does it affect Jim Harbaugh's job at Michigan? Well, yeah. I think he'll still stay. I think he'll still stay after he loses to OSU because they clearly have his number. I mean, and I'll ask you a question that you've asked me. Who are they going to get to replace him?
And see, that's that's the question. There's really no big name coaches out there. As far as, so you take a tier 1 program like Michigan, who's struggling? Like Michigan struggling, then you have Tennessee who's kind of struggling. Programs like this, is like, who do you replace them with?
Who do you replace them with?
I ask the same question. There's really no coaches out there. And then, I mean, shoot, I will go to Alabama and offer Saban $20 million a year. I mean, I don't know. Who's out there?
Yeah, I mean, as far as in the coaching realm, like Alabama's offensive coordinator Sarkisian. I don't see that. I don't see that. I can't really think of a big time coach that you would say, like, who would I replace this guy? The one that comes to mind, he's happily coaching high school football, would be John Chavis, former defense coordinator for LSU. I don't see him coming back no time soon. So two names that has been out the game for a while that I think would be a great replacement, although it be sacrilege for him in Columbus. Jimmy Tressel, the former Ohio State Buckeye. Jimmy Tressel would be a great replacement for the Rouge program. He knows that OSU mentality. He'll bring a lot of that winning attitude there. Jimmy Tressel, and another name. I'd probably put Jimmy Tressel number one, and then another name that haven't heard of. That haven't heard of from the big time NCAA Division I football, and that is to me that's sad, that's unfair. George O'Leary, Coach O'Leary was a great coach. I mean, at when he was down at Georgia Tech, but we haven't seen this man. He's disappeared after he just.
I thought he's coaching at like not SMU. Where's he? He was coaching somewhere. Hold on one second.
Yeah, but it wasn't Division I. He went to a school in Florida, and I forget the name of. But to keep a mind out of football who is brilliant as he, as far as what he's capable of bringing to a program, that kind of doesn't make sense. But
he's 74 years old. I mean.
Well, what does that mean? Did you have the love of the game? We see Tommy La Russa with switching sports right now. A great, phenomenal baseball coach. Has coached the championships, World Series championships with both the Oakland A's when you have Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire, and he brought a world championship to the St. Louis Cardinals when they had Albert Pujols. He just went back into coaching. And so can we really say they're too old? I mean, they still have the mind. They're not out there taking the hits. And but Jimmy Tressel, he would be my top tier for the University of Michigan if they was to make a replacement. And Tressel could probably fit in with practically all the other programs around the country who were looking for a coach. He just brings that high IQ mind as far as with that. And he has won national championship. To me, he was a great football mind. Too bad they got caught up in that clarinet deal with over in OSU. But I mean, that doesn't take anything away from his acumen. In my mind. But does Harbaugh stay? Yeah, Harbaugh stays if they don't lose if they lose the Big Ten. He stays if they lose Ohio State. And he stays that if they lose Ohio State, what going on the 6th or 7th year in a row.
Right.
So I mean, he couldn't pull it to Alabama. I mean, if you're not beating your division rival Auburn and things like that, we got a problem with that.
Right.
And I think Georgia would have a problem if you couldn't pull it off of Georgia Tech. If you're losing 7 years in a row to Georgia Tech.
I mean, sure. That never happened.
Stranger things have happened. But nevertheless, I'm not going to say Coach Harbaugh is on the hot seat, but he needs to start producing what the Michigan alumni is paying him to do. No, right. And we need to start seeing some shakeups down there, and some of that winning mentality. And I think the same thing goes to University of Texas. University of Texas have been throwing.
He's in trouble. You know what? I was disappointed when they let. Let's see here. Charlie Strong was the coach, and when it comes to black head coaches, man, we have to perform immediately or we're fired. So they fired Charlie Strong, and now the new coach they have in there from Houston, I forgot his name. Nothing's changed pretty much.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to talk about a lack of black coaches in NCAA football. It's a tragedy. It's almost like they don't feel like black coaches are capable of coaching for some damn reason. That's foolish. You can play. I mean, you can play in there, but even lack of that, and with athletic directors
Tom Herman.
It really is a shame.
Guess who's out there? Urban Meyer. If I would go after Urban Meyer.
Too inconsistent. Urban Meyer. Okay, let me say this. Urban Meyer. And let me pick my words very, very carefully. I'm not going to use the word he quits, but he seems to leave programs consistently. Okay, he seems to leave programs consistently. Okay, so and often people cite with his health, for some reason. I know what it is that sometimes battle health issues, so I understand that. But he seems to leave programs. Just put it like that. So that's what I mean by too inconsistent. I'm not going to say he quits. No, because everywhere Coach Urban Meyer has touched, he has won. Utah State, he won.
Right.
University of Florida, he won.
Yeah.
Ohio State, he won.
Right.
So, but would Coach Meyer even want to get back into the game? I think Coach Urban Meyer, I think you put him in an athletic director's position. You know, I think
that would be a waste of space, man. That man used to be
well, does he want it? Does he really want it? I mean, the man has a very good retirement package. He's about my age, maybe even a little younger. I mean, why would you want to go back into that pressure?
How old is Urban Meyer? Let me see.
Where you will want to do it. I think Urban probably is about 55, 56.
Let me check real quick. Let's see.
No, so why would you want to do that?
He's 56. He's 56.
Huh?
He's 56.
Yeah. I'm 56. So same thing with Coach Mark Richt. Coach Mark Richt left the University of Georgia. He's down here in Florida. You haven't seen him, vying to really go into coaching since he left the University of Miami.
He retired. He officially retired. He said he retired.
And he's a young guy. So why would you want that type of pressure to come back in? No, I mean you can't advocate it's the money. I mean, he's pretty much well set on there. So who would you find? Prince, I think a lot of ways, I think in a lot of ways, NFL coaches have somewhat challenges transitioning to the college ranks, and vice versa. College coaches have trouble, transitioning to the NFL ranks. So you got a homegrown talent in there. You got to grow talent. Now, the guy, and you can look it up right now. One party I probably would be looking at. I would be looking at the offensive coordinator for the Clemson Tigers.
Who's that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that name. You have to look it up in there. But that's who I would be That's who I would be gunning for, or giving strong consideration to. No, because he's been part of a very, very winning program for a lot of years, and what Dabo Swinney has put on the field, it leaves no doubt. The man is a flat out winner. A couple of national championships. I mean, so I would be looking at his offensive coordinator. No, my humble opinion, but
Jeff Scott. No, never mind. No, that's not it. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Oh, actually, he's a brother. Tony Elliott is a brother.
Think about what he's been doing. Think about the body of work the Clemson is doing right now. I know, not only right now, but should I say more importantly, what that Clemson has done in the past? I mean,
he's young too. He's only 40. He's young.
He should easily he should easily receive a head coaching consideration. Easily. It's a tragedy if he doesn't, but you never hear his name mentioned. No, yeah. So we're going to look. I think the COVID is somewhat going to be an advantage for coaches, even if coaches who are on the hot seats, because I don't think people making a lot of moves right now, as far as within the coaching ranks and looking to make a change at the helm. I think they're going to stick with what they have right now, evaluate this year, and then probably next year we could be seeing programs like, okay, well, maybe we need to get someone else in there. But I think from my understanding, and I would say one of them, I would say not the number one, I think some of the most pressure is on Coach Harbaugh. Man, Coach Harbaugh has to start producing. Right. He has to start producing. I mean, you can't just take that. Michigan, that program makes too much money, has too many big time alumni, has too much of a storied history to put up with those type of results. I mean, it's just they have to get something done. At least, man, show me you can beat Ohio State. Show me you can beat your divisional rival.
You're losing right now.
No, to Michigan State.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's only a matter of time, where like it has to be a serious consideration, even if we can't get a big time start, that we need to find someone to give this program another change of direction. Now we see what is his name, Lincoln Riley, for Oklahoma?
No, yes. Not
Okay.
good.
Lincoln Riley was touted as the wonder kid. Okay.
Right.
He was fortunate enough to coach a couple of Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks. What's that? Kyler Murray for the Arizona Cardinals, and
Right.
and I believe it was Sam Bradford who used to play with my Rams. But it's kind of fizzling. It looked like Oklahoma is not being Oklahoma-ish. Far as with and I think they're kind of out of contention right now. Far as for the 4 division playoffs with the college.
You know who else is out there has been missing? Bob Stoops, the Stoops brothers.
Well, Coach Stoops, man, he's done earned his respect, money, and everything else like that. He's fine. He's fine. I mean, Coach Stoops, I think the biggest thing he want to celebrate is with his family, his children, grandchildren, and maybe a fishing pole at a nice quiet river somewhere. So he's fine, man. He was in that for a long, long time. So he's done his thing. He built a powerhouse with Oklahoma. So the show, as far as what that topic, Prince, and I guess that was a nice little warm up, maybe too long a warm up. Who are the pretenders and who are the contenders, man? Let's first of all let's talk about let's do this backwards. Who are the pretenders?
Right now, North Carolina.
That's surprising. North Carolina, we was talking about them a couple of weeks ago. They was actually supposed to be in the hunt. I mean, I don't know what happened. What they only have one loss, Prince.
Yeah, but I mean, with Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia wins out.
Georgia's still in the contention. Georgia's still in it. You know why? Because they are by far the best team in the SEC East. Right. Now that Florida has sat down.
Yeah, well, I'm worried about the Florida game for sure because of our offense. I'm not worried about our defense.
Florida was out of it. I thought Florida suspended football.
For how long?
Did I miss something?
Hold on, let me look that up. Not for good, but
I thought they suspended football for the season because they had a couple of.
I said the Saturdays ain't gonna allow that. The boys gonna have to go play.
Listen. I heard that Florida suspended football operations due to COVID. University of Florida Gators down in Gainesville.
They're playing today.
Okay, well, I guess that was a quick suspension. I mean, man.
Yeah, come on, ain't no.
Man, isn't it interesting, boy? How the money that's generated for college football tops COVID crisis any day of the week.
What's crazy? Like, where are all these? Got to shut it down. You have to shut it down. It has to shut down. Why? Like, no one's complaining, Fitzgerald. No one's saying get the kids.
Yeah, and they finding these crazy recovery periods for people to get back in playing. I mean, and not to sound a little controversial, at all, but although I don't shy away from it. And when I hear about the president saying like, okay, well, maybe this thing ain't as strong as it got to be. As we think it is, or the media is portraying it, in lieu of what I'm seeing with college football and big time athletics, I got to say maybe the man got a point, because you know what, it don't seem to strike on stadiums. It don't seem to strike, it don't seem to be able to shut that down, but yet it can shut restaurants down and other businesses. But college football seems to go on, and sports seems to go on. NBA just came off, World Series just came off, the Stanley Cups here with Tampa Bay going ahead and winning the Stanley Cup trophy. The World Series, the Dodgers just won. Congratulations to them. The NBA, the LA Lakers won. Congratulations. In other words, the sports thing, they seem to be floating fine. So they have these almost miraculous cures, and so their business goes fine. Yet the general society, we're told that like how crazy this is. And no, I'm not dispelling the fact that people died. No, I'm not dispelling the disruption. My mother has been a part of that. Whereas I couldn't really for the first time in my 56 years, I couldn't put my arms around my mother the last time I saw her due to COVID thing. So I understand that. But nevertheless, with the programs like the football or the dominant sports program. What I'm saying, they seem to be in a bubble, isolated. But it's little wonder each and every one of those businesses generate multi-millions and millions and millions of dollars. There's something to be considered here. So when I hear the president saying, okay, well, maybe this thing isn't serious, and then I see stuff like this, well, it seems like that kind of validates what he's been saying, as far as with that. So it should be something all around the board. But I know darn well that I heard of the University of Florida has suspended their football operations due to COVID. I know that. As a matter of fact, Prince Diane Samir, we had a miraculous cure, a miraculous divine healing. Do you want to say?
Your coach.
Nick Saban, went out. He was diagnosed Thursday, but there was a game coming up on Saturday with the University of Georgia Bulldogs. Probably one of the most high profile games of that week. Not probably, definitely the most high profile game of that week. Number 2, Alabama going against number 3, Georgia. They were saying, well, he's not going to be able to play. He's not going to be able to thing. As a matter of fact, the Vegas line, had dropped against Alabama simply because this one guy who doesn't play on the field wasn't there. But Saturday, we see him, all of a sudden he's been declared fine. You get what I'm saying. So when the president comes out and say like, hey man, you cats making up numbers and you got this thing ain't really, and you think of this in the statement I'm putting in contrast. Let's take our political feelings out of it. We're talking about how sports generate so much revenue that seems to get somewhat special privilege to operate above the rest of everybody. You got to consider this, man. You gotta look and consider these things like that, and we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more of that coming along later and stuff like that. Cam Newton, that's another one. New England is they clearly have been sliding since Brady has left for Tampa Bay. It seems like people can advocate that it's more Brady than Belichick was responsible for that Patriots dynasty, as opposed to as indicative of how it's translating down here in Tampa with the Buccaneers. He's playing down here, but Cam Newton went out. He was sat a game. He came back in, got benched. But with his performance, but nevertheless, my point of the matter is he was able to get back on the field. I feel like less than a week later, and that brings some interesting point right there, because I know for a fact that you had a COVID. I remember when you called me. You called me on Friday, and I called you. But did you just snap out of right away? I mean, no. So how do you explain?
Like I said, they must have access to a drug that I didn't get, because I caught it when it was early. I caught it back in March. See, now I'm sure there's some wonder drugs out there now, but no, I definitely didn't snap back.
But you get my point. Would you? I mean, okay, you're let's say you're a star tailback back in your Georgia days. Okay, you had this thing. Would you been able to go out there and play at that high level a week later? I know for a fact you lost about 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you so what makes your diagnosis so much different than them?
Well, I guess the way people respond to it, like I said, if I was at the University of Georgia, I'm pretty sure they would have had some wonder drugs. They got the best doctors, access to the best doctors, versus Grady Hospital. So
you get my point. You see how I'm going with this. See how I'm going with this. How sports seems to be immune to this, and so we're talking about we're talking about the implications as far as with the stop in revenue. Now, I didn't know Florida's back in the SEC East. I clearly thought they were sitting down. Because that's what I heard. It was announced. And so Gainesville is about 90 miles to the north of me from here in Tampa. So that was announced, and that's what I thought it was. Now that Florida is back in the SEC East, which I'm still picking Georgia to come out of. Yeah. Would you consider them one of the contenders or the pretenders?
It depends which offense shows up for sure.
I mean, does Florida even have a loss?
Yeah, Florida lost. Was that
LSU?
hold on. Was it LSU or Kentucky? Oh, hold on.
I want to say, I think I'm not quite sure. So I'll let you look that up before I start speaking. But I'm not quite sure as far as in that. But they did take one loss. Okay,
they lost.
Okay, and so
they lost to Texas A&M.
Okay, all right. Well, I think Florida is a pretender. I mean, I'm sorry, a contender. I think the University of Georgia is a contender. That's going to be an interesting clash, as far as with the SEC. I think Alabama is definitely a contender. I know Clemson is a contender, and I know OSU. Now, so I've rattled off about maybe 4 to 5, about 5 teams there. So who is pretending? Who is looking good but we think, but it's not going to really do anything? Well, my number is not going to really be at the dance. Well, my number one, I say the University of Oklahoma Sooners. Okay, I had pretty high expectations far as for Penn State. I think Penn State is a pretender. They truly got exposed with the Indiana game. And was it a fluke? I don't know. But they came out of there with the L. I think Michigan is a pretender.
Right.
Okay. Michigan. Their problem is coaching, man. They get the players. Their problem is coaching, and they need to put that together. That program generates too much income. Easily one of the top 7 income producing programs in all of college football. Easily. Right along up there with Texas and Notre Dame, so OSU. I think they should put a bit of better product on the ground than what they have been accustomed to the last couple of years. Definitely should put something in there. So those are my pretenders. What I'm looking at as far as what big time programs. Here's a guy who we haven't heard about in a while that could be for great coaching consideration, man. If you want to say like a game manager, get you some good wins. And Pat Fitzgerald used to coach at Northwestern. I don't know where he is right now, but I mean, as far as he should have some consideration for one of these top tier coaching jobs open up. And I don't know if Kevin Sumpton will get another shot. I know he's still down at Arizona State, but
Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona rather, but hopefully he's happy right there. We have it. What about he used to coach Oregon. Gosh, he coached
Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly's at UCLA.
Okay. Well, Chip was a classic example of someone who just should have stayed where he was with University of Oregon, because he was dynamite there. Dynamite. He took a head coaching job to what to the Philadelphia. Okay. And then he came back, but not taking anything away from Coach Kelly. But that was a clear thing. He had his niche, and he had a very sweet niche. But as far as with the Oregon Ducks, that he was dominant out there in that Pacific. And we see coaches who recognize this and early, and they say, okay, I did, this is not cut off for me. Let me go back to where I prosper. The number one I can think of is Coach Nick Saban. After that LSU win, national championship, he jumped right down to Miami. With your coach there, the coach Kirby Smart was right along with him. He quickly realized, okay, this is not for me. I want to get back in college, and and so we were fortunate enough to get him, and the rest is history. And you see what the body of work is doing. And so I don't think for what I'm seeing and what I have been seeing over the years, I've seen basically 2 coaches that I know of that's able to put it together on the collegiate and the pro levels, and they're very, very successful with it. Number one would be Jimmy Johnson. As far as with the former coach of the Miami Hurricanes and the Dallas Cowboys. And number 2 is Peter Carroll. Peter Carroll, with the University of Southern California Trojans and Seattle Seahawks. What's that?
Barry Switzer.
Yeah, Barry Switzer. Yeah. Oklahoma and Dallas. He did get a championship right far as right there. But these type of individuals seems to be rare. Dynas.
Right.
For most of the part, most of the part, coaches don't show to me that they can make that transition consistently, either from the NFL to collegiate ranks, over the collegiate ranks to the NFL ranks. It just seems to be something missing. I don't know if a different system, but in the NFL, you got to build it through the draft and free agency and college coaches. You have to build your program through recruiting. So which is a main thing that people look at when they're doing for head coach consideration. Do you have the name pedigree to draw top line recruits? No, so it has to be something in that you bring to the table just besides the X's and the O's. So Prince, I've already gave my contenders and my pretenders. Who are yours?
Contenders.
Georgia. Yes.
Contenders. Georgia. Clemson. Because Clemson, if they lose to Boston College, they still have Notre Dame.
They lose to Boston College, they'll slide down to no lower than 5. No lower than 5 if they lose. I've already talked to Mr. Zigmond about that this morning. Who unfortunately wasn't able to join us due to an emergency coming up, but they slide no later than 5. No lower than 5, or rather.
All right, so you have Notre Dame. I'm gonna go and say Notre Dame. We got to give Notre Dame still undefeated.
Okay. Yeah.
Notre Dame, Alabama, Ohio State, and Pac-12 football is about to start, or they haven't played yet, so we're not going to count them.
Yeah.
And then Georgia's in the middle, and then as far as pretenders, I'm going to say Florida. We already know LSU; they're done. North Carolina, Michigan, Penn State,
Miami. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, who would be your dark horse? Who would be your dark horse coming out of this? They're like, man, I didn't see this coming. And
Notre Dame.
You know who would be my dark horse?
Who?
North Carolina. I'm still not giving up on them, man. I mean, they wouldn't expect to lose. But I still won't get. It's only one loss, man, and it's the middle of the season. So I'm not giving up on them. I think of a dark horse, they could possibly fit that bill. Far as with me, and as far as looking up there, it's going to be interesting. Nevertheless, the game has to be played. Now, who has the most pressure on them to prove that they belong where they belong? And if they mess around and get light on their cleats, they could easily be sent back home to Columbus. The most pressure is Ohio State. You got this ranking. You coming in and stuff like that. Let's show us what you got. Let's show us what you got. It's about time. It's about time for you to be considered in the national championship race, not just getting in the playoffs. You're way past that right now. You need to be playing for the national championship easily, if not winning it. So that the pressure is definitely on. We know that you're one of the top 4 teams in the nation, and everybody else knows that. Prove it on the field. Start bringing the championship home, and not talk about what you did in the eons past. So the pressure is there. You got it. I think you're going to come out to Pac-10 champions. Big Ten champions, no doubt. You're phenomenally programmed, very elite talent, no doubt about it. But let's translate this into national championship trophies up there in Columbus. Because your fan base deserves it. So I think they have the most pressure on them. But ladies and gentlemen, I guess that'll be all for today. Rather short broadcast, but we pretty much well covered it. I mean, we would like to know your opinions. Who you think is who you would call. I mean, I'm a firm advocate of being your program is your program. Win, lose, whatever. Your program is your program. I believe you should get behind your program just as strong as I do mine, and Dynas does his. So, but it'd be interesting. But based on the strength of competition, everyone should play to win the championship. Everyone should pay, no matter what division you're in, no matter what your school. You should always think that you have a chance to do that. Now, I'm not even the biggest disappointment. I'm not even going to say LSU. And I think that's an unfair assessment to say Ed O'Brien's LSU Tigers are the biggest disappointment. Ladies and gentlemen, they put 5 players in the first round of the draft last year, including the Heisman Trophy quarterback Joey Burrows, who's now plays with Cincinnati Bengals. And they lost a ton of talent. That's hard to replace. Now, if you're one of those things, okay, well, you need to recruit more. Well, I can agree with that. A national championship should have translated into some big time talent, but LSU do not keep them. Do not keep a lot of their top tier talent, as much as they should from Louisiana. In Louisiana, it's a lot of schools pecking at that door. They're seeing what's being produced down there. Alabama, I know, is one of them. Florida's another one. Ohio State, another one. I mean, LSU produces some outstanding players, collegiate high school players down there, as well as Florida, as well as Georgia, as well as Alabama, as well as Texas, as well as Ohio. So you got to be able to, you have to be able to hold your homegrown talent. You have to be able to do that. So Prince Amir, I'll give the final words to you, man. I certainly appreciate you taking time to join us.
Man, thank you, Brother Fitzgerald Stevens. Thank you for having me, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the platform. Find ways to win and get subscribed. Let's get this brother to 1,000 subscribers. And thank you for having me. And go Dogs!
Go Tide! Roll Tide! We appreciate you. Till next week. Thank you for tuning in to Find Ways to Win. Fall is Ball with Fitzgerald Stevens. Have an awesome day.